dark side.
Oh, man. Woo! Is it hot in here? Holy moly. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. Really, really sorry. Woo! Man. Just trying to get into character there, right? But hey. Welcome back to the Hellacious Hero Returns. I am Darth Vader. I am Hellacious Hero Joe. And today is going to be about, if you haven't seen, the sweet hat. Woo! Or that cool mask I was wearing at the beginning. One of the most popular and iconic characters in pop culture history. Darth Vader, right? And what makes Darth Vader so special? It's just so much stuff. I mean, there's a list. You can go down hundreds and hundreds and thousands and millions and billions and trillions of things that make the character just so unique and so memorable and just so badass. And I know I use badass a lot, but to emphasize how much Darth Vader means to me, it's an understatement. I mean, when I remember watching Star Wars when I was a kid, and I was terrified of Darth Vader, I was like, oh shit, I'm so scared. You know, and I watched Empire Strikes Back, and I thought, holy shit, like when Luke gets his hand cut off and shit, and I was like, oh my god, that's horrible. I watched that stuff when I was a kid, and but he's grown on me so much. He's one of my favorite. Look at that, dark side, baby. Join the dark side, as the title of this video is called. One of my favorite characters ever. And today I just want to talk about my experience with the character, what I feel he's about, and show you guys some comic books as usual. One of my favorite runs on Darth Vader. Not Dark Horse, it's Marvel owned. It's a 2015 run by Kieron Gillen, and art by Salvador Larroca. Stellar. Absolutely fantastic run. Amazing. They did the character so much justice. It's like a 9 out of 10 series. 9 out of 10 for this run. I'll show you guys, the variants and some artwork on the inside, but this is really all things Vader. And I love Darth Vader. Right now I'm drinking some matcha tea out of a sweet Vader mug, right? So good. And I mean, I'm obsessed with Darth Vader. I have Darth Vader chopsticks, right? I have a Darth Vader Invicta watch, Darth Vader posters, Darth Vader action figures, the helmet you guys saw. I got this cool piece here that's Vader. Ooh, the Black Series. Woohoo! Look at that. Yes. Look at that. Look how awesome Vader is. Oh my goodness, he's so badass. Voiced by the legendary James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is amazing. Perfect, voiceover for that character. He's just unbelievable. And like I said, when I was a kid, I watched Star Wars, and that's when I got into Darth Vader. And the thing I love about Darth Vader so much is he's so evil and stuff, but my favorite, I'm going to say it right now, I'm going to get out of the way, I might have some haters for this, but my favorite Star Wars movie, I'm not saying it's the best, I'm saying it's my personal favorite, is Return of the Jedi. I love Return of the Jedi, and the reason why I love it so much is that Vader redeems himself at the end, and that's the whole point of the hero's journey, that's the whole point of the prophecy and the prequel trilogy, where they're like, he'll bring balance to the Force, Obi-Wan says, and he does. He does. And for me, I love all things Star Wars. I do. I love, the prequel. The prequel series is, miles weaker than the OG. 4, 5, and 6 are just classics. They're timeless movies and timeless characters, and just the stuff with the prequels was okay. I liked Revenge of the Sith a lot because it deals with Vader, but I'm biased that way. But the other two were just kind of And the sequel trilogy, which, I was a huge fan Force Awakens, and I really, really, really liked The Last Jedi, but I was like really let down by Rise of Skywalker. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, it's a good movie, but if you're looking at it in terms of like closing the 9-film story arc of the Skywalker saga, it was pretty weak, in my opinion. And I kind of want to talk about that too, because for me, really, the story ends with Return of the Jedi. You know, if you take episode 1 through 6 and you're like, boom. I mean, the prequel trilogy is about Anakin Skywalker and him becoming Darth Vader. The OG trilogy is about him redeeming himself and becoming basically a hero. You know, it's like in philosophy and mythology, you have to become the darkness to understand the darkness to end up defeating the darkness. It's kind of like the whole thing with like undercover police officers and detectives and undercover cops. They have to infiltrate something by becoming something that they're actually like fighting against. And then they end up, you know, serving justice or doing the right thing. And that's the whole arc. And I think that's kind of transposed in the sequel trilogy. It's pretty much the same story that's in the OG, you know, episode 4, 5, and 6. That's in 7, 8, and 9, just with different characters. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy them. They're awesome, but, you know, not so the last one. It was good. It wasn't awesome. I want to see some original stuff. And I loved Rogue One. Oh my god, the spin-off movies. I'll say this, like Solo, a Star Wars story, it gets shit on constantly, but I thought it was actually a good flick, you know? I love Ron Howard. I love the movie Willow. You know, I love his work. Willow is one of my favorite fantasy movies. It's hilarious. Warwick Davis and, you know, Val Kilmer, and I love the way he peck. I mean, I love the one-liners in that and the quips. It's so cool. Willow is a badass movie. Ron Howard's awesome. Happy Days, right? And to see him do that was so cool. And you had Woody Harrelson in it. You had a huge cast in there. And Chewbacca was in it. I love that team up with those guys. And Beckett and Paul Bettany, the guy who plays Vision in the MCU, was, you know, Dryden Voss, the mob boss dude with the sweet-ass, like, lightsaber dagger thingies. Emilia Clarke's in it as Kira, Game of Thrones, the Mother of Dragons, the nearest stillborn of the House Targaryen. Right? Amazing! How can you not like it? People are like, oh, it sucked. It wasn't Harrison Ford. It's like, Harrison Ford's like 70 years old. Is he supposed to be Han Solo? Weren't you happy that you got him, like, to come back anyway for, like, Force Awakens? Yeah. He gets killed off, but I mean, like, it was awesome to see him in that movie. That's another reason why the other two were like, because you didn't have the cool kid, you know? Harrison Ford in that was badass. Force Awakens is the best movie in the sequel trilogy as far as I'm concerned. Back to Vader and that whole redemption tale and story. Such an amazing character. If you guys have been watching earlier episodes where I say, you know, this kind of like dichotomy of good and evil, and Vader's like he comes off early on as this embodiment of evil, but he's really a very, very complicated and, you know, torn character. Like, internally, he's in pain constantly. He got his legs, got his torso and stuff cut off and got caught on fire. I mean, he's constantly burning. He constantly is reflecting on how Obi-Wan betrayed him, right? And I love how that carries over. Really, in these comics I want to show you guys by Kieron Gillen. Amazing story writing here. And these comics take place between episode 4 and episode 5. So right after A New Hope. It's right after the Rebels and Luke blow up the Death Star. Right? But I mean, look at the Salvador Larroca art. I couldn't ask for anything better than this. I mean, it is unbelievable. I love that. There's a lot of really cool characters in these volumes too. Boba Fett is in it. Jabba the Hutt's in it. There's droids in it. That is so awesome. And people forget how awesome Darth Vader is. I mean, he's really a smart guy too. You know, Anakin Skywalker was like a technical genius. He built droids from scratch. C-3PO. I mean, if you watch the prequel trilogy. Super smart dude. That one is so cool. Epic. Like, how can you be a sci-fi person and a sci-fi enthusiast and not love that? The Death Star and just the Empire Armada there floating around it with destroyers and Bounty Hunter over here. Look at the Emperor in that picture here. Oh my god! I'm having flashbacks from Revenge of the Sith. Execute Order 66. Gorgeous art. Phenomenal. That one is so cool too. And don't forget about Anakin winning the pod races in the prequel trilogy. He's an amazing pilot, and all the shit he did to save Obi-Wan and Attack of the Clones. I mean, look at that. This here too, just oh my god. Darth. Luke. That was volume 1 of the collection. Now for volume 2. Ooh. Cover. These two are probably my favorite in the entire, variant gallery, and in both books. I love the red color tint in his helmet, and I love this very Japanese-esque inspired, samurai-esque inspired, like Kurosawa variant. So cool. Beautiful. This too is so neat. That one. Oh my goodness. All of it. Breathtaking. But that pretty much sums it up for the 2 books. And again, this is the Star Wars of Darth Vader. This is the 2015 to 2016 run by Kieron Gillen with art by Salvador Larroca. I can't tell you how incredible it was to read those. The nostalgia factor for me came back when I read those. I was like, whoa. I dabbled a little bit in the Dark Horse stories when I was younger. The stuff with Luke Skywalker, I should have that right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is the Dark Empire storyline and all that stuff. It's called Star Wars Luke Skywalker. It's a big, old, thick omnibus edition of those stories. And I like that version because it's like Luke turns bad. He's evil. And Marvel released these like essential edition kind of collections. They're called epic collections. They do it with stories like Kieron as well. They have a bunch of these epic collection books, but there's one like a what if storyline, and it's called Star Wars Infinities, and it's based on the original script that was written for the Star Wars movies by George Lucas, where it was a lot more complicated for Luke, and he was kind of like not the hero that he turned out to be in the movies. He was almost like Vader, sort of. So it's a really awesome, what if story. What if? I highly recommend checking that out too. It's so cool. And I love Mark Hamill. I love him as an actor. I think he's a phenomenal human being. He kicks ass. But as far as characters are concerned, Luke Skywalker was, as a kid, he was a huge inspiration of mine. Green's my favorite color. So when he came in with Return of the Jedi, that's another reason why I like Return of the Jedi. He goes in, to Jabba's lair, and he has the green lightsaber, and he has the glove on. He looks like Vader. And I didn't realize it at that time, because I was like, oh, Luke Skywalker's so badass. But then later when I realized the whole thing was like out of order, and I understood the movies, and the prequel trilogy came out, and all that stuff, and I realized, like, he's pretty much a spitting image of Vader, only Luke kind of didn't do a lot of the bad shit that Vader did in the prequel stuff. But Luke, for me, is a really, really cool character. But now, as an adult, Luke pales in comparison to Darth Vader. I think he is, like I said earlier when I was talking about redemption and all that stuff, he's like the number one. And the fact that he's a robot, because I'm like obsessed with robots, my favorite science fiction thing. He's like half human, half machine, which is kick ass. And he's super strong with the Force. The whole thing about the midichlorians and stuff like that were introduced in the prequel trilogy, I was kind of like, but it's okay. I don't really hate on the prequels as much as a lot of other people do. They're like, they're trash, don't even watch them. Blah. I mean, and if you're looking at it from like a pure standpoint of like what's a better story arc, like I said earlier, 4, 5, and 6, there's nothing that touches them. They're untouchable. But I give George Lucas credit, though, for trying to tell the story in a different way. I just think it was horrible casting. I loved Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Love their characters in it. Hayden Christensen was just a bad casting. Natalie Portman was okay, but even her Padme it didn't resonate with me like Carrie Fisher did as Princess Leia. It just wasn't the same. And the thing about the prequels, too, that a lot of people don't mention is you didn't have a character like Han Solo. You didn't have that, like, cowboy kind of Western outlaw, bounty hunter kind of character. He was like a rebel, but he was kind of like out for himself in the beginning. He was just like, this is what I do. This is my ship. I'm named Falcon. I go, I smuggle, I do this, I do that. You didn't really get a character like that in the original prequel films, and I think that was missing. And he didn't have Vader until the very end. The whole story, he wasn't Vader. It would have been cool if he approached it differently and was like, okay, film 1's going to be about Anakin as a kid, 2 is going to be his teenage years training with Obi-Wan, and the whole third film should have been him. Like, at the end of 2, he should have became Vader, and then 3 should have been about him, like, being Vader, and leading up to Episode 4. That's what I think it should have been, but, who am I, right? I'm just a fan. But Darth Vader is outstanding. One of the greatest characters in lore and film and cinema, science fiction, whatever you want to call it. And the whole balance, like I said, I love the imagery in Star Wars. I mentioned this in the first episode of the show I ever did, with the samurai. I actually have a samurai action figure of Darth Vader. It's super awesome. And the whole lightsaber stuff and all that is, derived from those movies and that kind of film, and like your relationship with your lightsaber and how it's so important to learn how to use that is like a samurai with its sword. And earlier, as I mentioned, I was drinking, I still have a little bit in here, let me see, a little bit of matcha tea in here. That's what samurais used before they went into battle, in ancient Japan. They would drink the matcha tea. They would make the matcha tea. It gave them focus and concentration to go out and, win a duel or win a sword fight, to just get that clarity. And that's in Star Wars, and you can see that. Some of the lightsaber battles and those scenes, Last Jedi got a lot of shit, but that whole battle scene with Rey and Kylo, with Supreme Leader Snoke in his quarters, with all the Praetorian guards, the red dudes, oh my god. That was badass. I loved it. I loved it so much. And Star Wars, I know people are going through a Star Wars fatigue right now. They're probably like, oh my god, another Star Wars movie. Ugh, can't deal with it. Ugh. But I think they're releasing, a new trilogy coming up in a couple years here. 2022, 23 maybe the first one, 20, 2 years apiece, so 25, 27, something like that. I don't know. There was news about it the other day, I just saw. But I can't stress enough how much Darth Vader in Star Wars means to me. It's one of those big cornerstones, like I said. And I just wanted to shed light on the character and let people know, because not a lot of people know, like casual Star Wars fans, there's actually comic books about Star Wars characters. Comic books, Star Wars, what? They're like crap. No, they're not. They're not. They're actually really fucking good, Especially this run. This run that I showed you. I'm just so thankful to have it. Like, as a fan and as a huge, I guess you want to call it nerd. Yeah. For me, it was never nerdy because people say that, but I was always that way since I've been a kid, and I think that's why I love it, and I still do. I'm going to be 34 years old in September, so for me, it's not nerdy. It's literally, like I've mentioned in previous episodes, it's what I grew up with. It's my way of life. It's special to me. It's nostalgia for me. It has meaning to me. Just like some people like Barbies and all those kind of toys. They collect dolls, or they have a curio cabinet with a bunch of knickknacks in it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you're passionate about something and you have that kind of feel about it, you should just enjoy it and you should do it. And that's why I always say, do you, and that's what I mean by it. I just love to be able to do this show, to have people listen, just to shed light, even if you get nothing from this, for, this video, however long it is, 25, 30 minutes, I don't know, 20 minutes, whatever. Even if there's one little thing that sticks out, and you're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, that's cool. Even one piece of art that I showed you from the comic, you're like, wow, that's badass. But the rest of it, you're like, oh, that was shit. At least I showed you something, you were like, wow, that's cool. And then maybe, like, subliminally, down the line, you'll be like, oh, shit. You know what? That Joe guy comes off as a D-bag, but he actually had a good point. Yeah. I don't really like his hair, or his glasses, or his dress, but the point he made was pretty cool. Right? Even something like that. Do you always. And remember, there's people down here in this ticker, okay? Follow these people, because these people, just like I said, are doing what they love to do by posting some amazing, memorable, inspirational content. And these people, let me tell you, are the most welcoming and humble people that I've ever had the opportunity to interact with, communicate with, to know. They just, hey, send a message. Let me just give a shout out here real quick. Sanimation. Oh, hey, your content was really cool. We had a little discourse about, like martial arts movies and how John Wick and Dredd was influenced by a lot of stuff, like the movie The Raid, with the character Kama and all that stuff. And it reminded me, and I told her, it's kind of like John Woo movies and things like that. Hard Boiled with like Chow Yun Fat and all those cool movies. And Varangian Vigilante, he's always posting cool Conan shit. He has a discourse, and he's always liking my stuff on Insta. He's like, oh, dude, cool. It could be the dumbest shit. Like, I just post some random shit, and he's like, awesome. Like, it's stuff like that. Or Stay Puff, like, hey, man, really appreciate your content. He commented on my video a couple days ago, like, hey, cool, I never really, I'm going to have to go back and reread the book 7 to Eternity, the one by Rick Remender. Maybe I'll get a different perspective. Like, that's cool to me. Newbie Comics, man, shout out to you too, bro. I mean, Newbie's cool as shit. I just watched a couple of his streams, and he has the coolest peeps on there. I mean, they're funny as hell. It's like they're a little Avengers group, right? They're all little superheroes. You got your little name on the stream. And I'm going to say this right now. I suck at streaming. I've never live streamed before. One of you guys are going to have to show me how to do it, because I don't have a fucking clue what the hell to do. Give me some direction here. I'm asking for you. I know Sam was like, hey, maybe we should do a live stream or something, but I'm down for it. I am. But I'm going to just come straight out and say I am a live stream virgin. I have no fucking clue what to do. I just sit up here and in my bat cave / just stalk, because this is about Darth Vader, right? And record shit that I think's awesome. Darth Vader, check it out. Always do you. Remember, again, before I go, follow these people in this ticker, right? Do it, please. They will change your life for the better. They will show you things you've never seen that will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Right? Every time. I am Hellacious Hero Joe. I am the hero you deserve. And I am the hero that you need right now. Stay heavy, my friends. Till next time. Oh shit, look at that. Isn't that sweet? Oh, this is hot. Ah, fuck!